While doing a mural gig in Tulsa, Oklahoma, this is me basically trying to prime the wall, and I'm having trouble, and my Graco sprayer basically just crapped out on me, and I was trying to figure out exactly what it was, trying to troubleshoot everything I could, but I just could not figure it out. So basically I had to roll the entire rest of the wall by hand, which sucks. So this is me basically just doing a video on how I troubleshooted this sprayer, because it's really easy. So if you're an artist and you're using this sprayer, I just want to make sure that you know exactly how to fix it when it does fail. And one of the first things that I think about when using any sprayer is the pump. And I took this thing apart before, so I know where the pump is, and you just need a couple of tools to get it out of the housing. So I was looking around and seeing if there was any sort of visible damage, and there wasn't anything. I looked at the motor, wasn't any visible damage, so basically taking off the release valve. And this right here was a mistake. I should not have used a power tool on this, mainly because it did strip a part away of the release valve, and because it's made of plastic, it was very difficult to actually get this on and off again. So use an Allen wrench. It's the 8mm one. This is what I had to do to the one that had the strips in there, because the Allen wrench basically would not stick to the side of the wall. But yeah, so eventually I got it off and got it back on. But when I was looking into it, there wasn't any visible sort of material. I flushed it out and everything, and it was kind of like, if it's not the pump, then I really have to check the actual trigger, the actual gun, mainly because on other sprayers that Graco makes, trigger does not have any electronical parts, but this one does. And this one has a solenoid in there, and solenoids, basically when you apply a current to it, it actually pulls or pushes. So that's the one thing that I was thinking about checking out, because this was something that was very different than any other trigger that I used in the past. And I took it out, I opened it up, and basically I couldn't really figure out exactly what it was supposed to do in terms of mechanically when current is applied to it, but it's supposed to turn or twist or whatever. Wanted to make sure it was actually this and not the pump again going through the hose, or it wasn't the hose. So I actually plugged it in, press the trigger, and water goes straight through the hose. So the pump is working perfectly. It goes through the hose up into the trigger, and that is where the problem starts. So I went online and looked for replacements. I went to Portland Compressor, because they have a ton of Graco sort of products and tools and replacement sort of pieces that you can get. So I ordered one, and it was about $350 when you count in the shipping. That's what I'm doing now, replacing the entire gun housing and electrical parts and stuff like that, mainly because the actual solenoid, you can get that part separately, and that is about $250. So it's $100 different. So it's like, I might as well just replace everything. And one thing that's difficult is like actually getting the hose to attach to it. So I actually had to take this apart as well, take out the solenoid, and then basically attach the hose to it, and then replace it back into the housing. So this does take a little bit of work and finesse and actual sort of skill to actually put everything back together, but it's super easy and very well intuitive on how to sort of take it apart and put it back together. But after that, I wanted to test it out to see if it worked, and basically it started spraying as it should. And that was a great sign, knowing that it wasn't the actual pump or the motor in the actual base of the housing. It was actually just the gun, and most likely that solenoid, because all the other parts of the gun perfectly fine. So the trigger, the potentiometer, the spray shield, all that stuff, the tip, that works perfectly fine. It was basically that solenoid sort of housing part of it that was the problem. So I'm gonna sort of take all the rest of the parts of the previous gun that I had and just store it, just in case like the potentiometer of the new gun goes out or the trigger of the new gun goes out. I always have an extra from the older gun, so that is what I'm going to do. Hopefully this helps out in showing you how I troubleshooted everything and some of the parts. All I did was throw in solenoid, QuickShot Ultra, and then some other things just to sort of come across this Portland compressor site, which has a ton of different parts that you can use to fix your QuickShot Ultra compressor. And like I said, my gun was about $350 just to replace, and you know, there's other items that you can replace as well on the sprayer, so it doesn't have to be as expensive if you know exactly what's wrong with it. I'll have the link in the description. This is not an ad or anything, this is just helping you out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.